Many people believe that the biggest obstacle to China's AI development is the US blocking access to advanced chips. But that's not really the case. The real issue holding back China's AI is something it brought upon itself. This is what I would like to talk about today. Hello everyone, welcome to Chew on It. I'm Mr. Chew. Even if China manages to solve the chip problem through technological breakthroughs or secretly smuggling in the chips, and even if the world's top AI experts and investors like Geoffrey Hinton, Ilya Sutskever, or Sam Altman were to move to China and pledge their absolute loyalty to the Chinese government, there would still be a fundamental barrier that the China AI cannot overcome. In other words, China's AI has a ceiling that won't be broken for a long time. So, what exactly is this insurmountable barrier? Let me explain. To understand this issue, we first need to grasp the basic principles of the most advanced AI today, like ChatGPT, Grok, Bard, Sora, and the others, which is they are all self-learning AI. If you think back, up until 2 or 3 years ago, it seemed like AI development had stalled for a long time. Hollywood has been fantasizing about robots and advanced AI for years, with movies like The Terminator, portraying AI destroying humanity. That movie came out in 1984, which was already 40 years ago. Feels just like yesterday, doesn't it? But in the real world, AI seemed to have made little progress over the past few decades. Robotic arms in factories have been around since the 1960s, and they are still more or less the same. Up until a few years ago, the most advanced AI we could interact with was something like the Apple Siri or children's educational robots, which were still far away from human-level intelligence. So, when OpenAI's ChatGPT suddenly burst onto the scene in November 2022, it shocked the world because its intelligence far surpassed anything we had previously called AI. Just 2 months after its release, ChatGPT reached 100 million monthly active users, becoming the fastest growing application in history. But ChatGPT didn't just appear out of nowhere. The first self-learning AI to really capture public attention was actually Google's AlphaGo, which defeated world Go champion Lee Sedol in 2016. This was another groundbreaking moment in the global AI field, because in the world of computer science, Go has long been considered a game that computers couldn't conquer. We all know that back in 1997, IBM's Deep Blue defeated Garry Kasparov, the world's best chess player at the time. But that was more a demonstration of sheer computing power than actual intelligence. In chess, after just 2 moves, there are about 400 possible outcomes. But in Go, after just 2 moves, there are around 350,000 possibilities. And the number of possibilities increases exponentially with each move. The number of potential game outcomes in Go is 10 to the power of 170, far more than the total number of atoms in the universe. Way more. This is why, even though today's smartphones have over 1,000 times the computing power of Deep Blue, and the world's most powerful supercomputer, America's frontier at the Oak Ridge National Lab, is 88 million times more powerful than Deep Blue, it still cannot rely solely on brute force to defeat a top human Go player. But in the end, Google's breakthroughs in machine learning and deep learning led to the creation of AlphaGo, an AI with intelligence that shattered the belief that computers could never defeat top human Go players. What many people don't know is that AlphaGo actually lost its 4th game against Lee Sedol. However, while human players needed to rest and recharge after a match, AlphaGo spent that same night quietly playing millions of games against itself, learning and improving. After losing that one match, AlphaGo never lost to a human again. achieving a record of 60 wins and no losses against the world's top players. What's even more terrifying is that AlphaGo's upgraded version, AlphaGo 0, defeated AlphaGo with a score of 100-0. Ke Jie, a Chinese Go player who had won 8 world championships, was so demoralized after losing 3 times in a row to AlphaGo that he said, "After thousands of years of improving our Go strategies, the computer has shown us that humans have been completely wrong. Seeing AlphaGo, I can say that humans haven't even scratched the surface of the truth about Go." From that point on, AlphaGo laid the blueprint for the next generation of AI. Deep neural networks trained on massive amounts of data, creating AI with self-learning capabilities. 6 years later, the large language model ChatGPT, built on the foundations of machine learning, was born. GPT's understanding of human language and the world shocked everyone. In April last year, Elon Musk even teamed up with over 1,000 AI experts, scientists, and engineers to sign an open letter calling on OpenAI to pause GPT's development for 6 months until we could come up with a more comprehensive plan for its safety. But the pace of machine learning development didn't slow down at all. In November last year, GPTs were introduced. GPTs allow anyone, even a complete beginner, to create an app with just a few simple instructions. The launch of GPTs led to the overnight collapse of thousands of AI companies and tech firms that relied on app development because they were no longer needed. They became obsolete overnight. And then there's Sora. Although Sora hasn't been officially released to the public yet, and OpenAI is only allowing a few industry insiders to test it, the intelligence it has shown is already enough to send shivers down the spine of everyone in the video production industry. With just a simple text description from a human, Sora can automatically generate videos. Here are a few examples of what Sora can do. What you're seeing now isn't a real scene. These people don't exist in the world. They were all created by Sora. Next, this looks like a Hollywood sci-fi blockbuster about space. But in reality, you only need to give Sora a few simple instructions, and it can generate it automatically. A cute dog playing in the snow. In the past, snow was very difficult to animate, but with Sora, everything looks completely natural. The snow and cherry blossoms. The camera movements. These are on par with what a seasoned director could achieve. It's hard to believe, but this old man doesn't exist in the world. Every detail is so natural. The videos generated by Sora are stable, coherent, and clear, already reaching a cinematic level. And this is just the beta version. By the way, a friendly reminder to everyone, Sora is currently in invite-only testing. No individuals or companies in China have received testing access, and the ports are not opened. So if you're watching this video via VPN from China, any Sora courses or tools you see being sold on Chinese TikTok are definitely scams. Don't buy them. Alright, after talking so much about the recent developments in AI, my main point is this. Machine learning and deep neural networks have fundamentally changed the speed at which AI develops. Over the past year or so, the pace of AI advancement and the iteration has made it feel like the birth of AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, is no longer far away. Whoever misses out on this wave of the intelligence revolution will face consequences as severe as those countries that missed out on the Industrial Revolution 200 years ago. They could fall behind by centuries and may never catch up again. That's why, right now, research into machine learning is the top priority in all fields of technology. Now, here's the key point. Machine learning doesn't happen out of thin air. It starts with humans providing machines with massive amounts of data to help them understand the world, and from that understanding comes creativity. It's like a newborn baby who knows nothing at first, but learns by observing the world, reading books, and watching videos. Once the child absorbs and integrates this knowledge, they can start to be creative. Let me give you a simple example of how machines learn. For example, we want a computer to recognize a cat in a picture. The first step is to provide the computer with millions of images labeled cat and not cat. By analyzing these vast amounts of images, the computer begins to understand the characteristics of a cat. Then, using algorithms, it corrects its mistakes over time until it can accurately identify a cat. In short, machine learning is about teaching computers to understand the world through a large number of examples and then using that understanding to make decisions. And where do these examples come from? They come from the existing data on the internet. So, for machine learning, besides computing power and algorithms, the most crucial element is data. Without a massive amount of data, it's impossible to train AI. This brings us to the key point of this video. The fundamental obstacle to the future of AI in China, what I call the unavoidable Achilles heel of Chinese AI, is data. People often talk about data, but they forget that AI needs high-quality data. Garbage data leads to garbage AI. So, what qualifies as high-quality data? Active forums, professional news, academic papers, high-quality code, books, and so on. Let's take a look at where ChatGPT's training data comes from. Wikipedia, Google Books, Reddit forums, Public Web Archive Common Crawl, the Technical Q&A Community Stack Exchange, GitHub, Real News, Research Papers Archive Arxiv, Medical Data Archive PubMed, and so on. And all of these data sources I mentioned, except for some specialized content like medical and scientific papers, are almost entirely inaccessible within China's Great Firewall. This includes all open communities like Wikipedia, Google Books, Reddit, and others. Whether they are accessible or not, the amount of Chinese data available from these sources is so small that it's negligible. For example, Common Crawl collects global internet content to create a publicly accessible web archive, where English content makes up about half, while Chinese content is less than 5%. This is the problem troubling many AI experts within China trying to train large language models in Chinese. There simply isn't enough usable Chinese data. Without high-quality Chinese data, China is destined to ride the coattails of global internet data. This is why, when Baidu first launched its AI model, Wenxin Yiyan, users quickly discovered that it was basically a shell over ChatGPT. For instance, when you ask Wenxin Yiyan to draw a 总线, it would draw an actual bus instead of a computer bus. In English, both 总线 and the vehicle 巴士 are referred to as bus. This shows that Wenxin Yiyan, a Chinese language model, was translating users' requests into English before generating the images. The reason is clear. It was connected to ChatGPT's backend API, essentially outsourcing the intelligence part. There are many similar examples, like asking it to draw a 弹簧, which is a spring, and getting a picture of the season instead of a coil. Because spring in English has multiple meanings, but in Chinese, the coil and the season spring are totally different words. If Baidu is not translating users' requests into English before drawing it, there shouldn't be this confusion. Some people ask for a drawing of a 起重机 and getting a bird instead of a construction machine for the same reason. Both the bird and the construction machine are called crane in English, but in Chinese they are 起重机 and 鹤, totally different word. These mistakes all point to Baidu's 文心一言 translating Chinese into English before generating images, causing issues due to English words with multiple meanings. Of course, after Baidu got exposed, the examples mentioned above have gradually been corrected. After all, they have enough manpower from the 996 work culture, which means working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Baidu isn't the only one. ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, was also caught using the ChatGPT API to train their own model. This was confirmed when OpenAI suspended ByteDance's GPT account back in January for violating terms of service. Their violation was using OpenAI's API to develop a competing AI model, which is a nice way of saying copycat. ByteDance later admitted in a public statement that they had used GPT-generated data in the early stages of their AI model development, but claimed that they had deleted it all since. Whether you believe that or not is, of course, up to you. But regardless of whether we believe ByteDance really deleted all that data already, the fact remains that they needed GPT's data in the early stages of developing their own large model. Why is that? As I mentioned earlier, there's simply too little high-quality Chinese data. At this point, some might say, it's alright, China started late and Chinese data will increase over time. Unfortunately, I'm not that optimistic. Let me explain why. The production of any high-quality data requires one fundamental condition: an open ecosystem, a community where free and open discussion is allowed. But this is precisely what cannot be allowed under the current system in China. This is the CCP's Achilles heel when it comes to AI development. I came to Shanghai from the US in early 2008, and at that time, Google, YouTube, and Wikipedia were still accessible. But gradually, one after another, they became inaccessible. In 2009, YouTube and Facebook were banned. In 2010, Google pulled out of Chinese search. In 2014, all Google services, including Gmail, Google Maps, and Google Play, were blocked. In 2015, Wikipedia was fully blocked. In the end, even IMDb, a website dedicated to movie information, was also banned simply because it had an open forum for people to discuss movies. When Google search became unavailable in China, I once said, the ability of Chinese people to access information would regress by 10 years. Looking back, with incidents like the Baidu Weizhexi case and the overwhelming ads for unregulated Putian hospitals on Baidu search, it seems that the regress might have been more than 10 years. Take a look at this list. These are the websites that cannot be accessed in China right now without using VPN. From social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, to major global news outlets like Reuters, Bloomberg, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, BBC, ABC, NBC, and mainstream magazines like Time and Newsweek. Communication tools like WhatsApp, Telegram, Skype, and Zoom. Media sharing platforms like Dropbox, Vimeo, Pinterest, and Flickr. And essential programming resources like GitHub. Eventually, even music, games, art, and entertainment sites haven't been spared. The policy seems to be, it's better to block something by mistake than to let anything slip through. And this list only includes the major global websites, not even the smaller ones. Looking at this list, do you know what it makes me feel? This is the 21st century version of self-imposed isolation. In this age of information and big data, such a level of internet censorship is no different from the self-imposed isolation policies during the late Ming and early Qing dynasties. Now, with the emergence of self-learning AI models like ChatGPT, Grok, Bard, and Sora, high-quality data has become more valuable than gold and oil. It's been just 22 months since GPT 3.5 was released in November 2022. During this short time, we've witnessed the development of GPT-4, GPT-S, GPT-4o, Vision, Grok Midjourney, and Sora. The speed of iteration has been astonishing, and each new version has brought technological breakthroughs that are far beyond the previous generation. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has publicly stated at least 5 times that they plan to release GPT-5 and achieve AGI in the next couple of years. Recently, Sam also announced a $7 trillion plan to create an AI ecosystem. Japan's Masayoshi Son has announced plans to invest $100 billion in AI chips, and Meta's Mark Zuckerberg is set to invest $10.5 billion in AI infrastructure. And these are just the public announcements. Surely there are many more plans underway that we don't know about. Keep in mind, these companies and individuals that I just mentioned don't face any restrictions on access to high-end chips. Meanwhile, China, already facing hardware limitations, continues to restrict data access and forces domestic AI to conform to socialist core values. This is like entering a race with a leg already injured and then blindfolding yourself. As NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said, AI competition is a game in which winner takes all. In summary, if China doesn't change its approach of banning open forums and communities, and if the government continues to prioritize socialist core values above all knowledge and ideas, China, which missed the Industrial Revolution, will miss the intelligence revolution as well. China may find itself returning to a state similar to that of the Qing dynasty, where the gap between Chinese and the global civilization would once again widen into an insurmountable gulf. Thank you for watching Chew On It. Hit like and subscribe if you would like to know more about what's going on in China. I'm Mr. Chew. See you next time.